Have you ever just stopped and wondered how on earth we make sense of the millions and millions of species on our planet? Well, that's exactly what biological classification is all about. It's this amazing system for organizing the incredible, sprawling diversity of life. So let's dive in and see how it all works.
I mean, it really is a world of breathtaking contrasts, isn't it? Just think about the elegant power of a horse in a full gallop, or the primal, raw force of a shark on the hunt, or even the super intricate ecosystem living in a single forest. The sheer variety of life is just staggering. And if you want to put a number on it, biologists have so far identified and named about 1.8 million different species. And get this, that's just what we've found so far. This number, it just shows you the massive scale of the puzzle that scientists are trying to piece together. So how do we even begin to tackle this beautiful challenge? How do you take millions of different organisms and build a system that actually makes sense of it all? This is really the fundamental question, right? Because if we didn't have a system, it would be total chaos. Every conversation about a specific animal or plant would be a mess. Local names change from town to town, so we absolutely need a universal language for biology.
And the solution? Well, it's a science of order. Over centuries, scientists have developed this incredibly powerful discipline to file, label, and understand every single living thing.
And that science is called taxonomy. You can think of it as the essential toolkit that allows biologists to organize the living world based on what they have in common. And it's not just about making a long list of names, it's about understanding the relationships between them.
The whole process is this really logical four-step journey. First, you start with characterization, carefully observing and describing an organism. Then comes identification, recognizing what it is based on those features. Next up is classification, which is grouping it with similar organisms. And finally, nomenclature, giving it that official, universal name.
Now, that naming part of taxonomy has this particularly elegant system called binomial nomenclature. It was pioneered by a guy named Carolus Linnaeus. And the idea is that every single recognized species gets a unique two-part name that's understood by scientists everywhere, no matter what language they speak. It's pretty brilliant.
Okay, let's use the mango as an example. Its scientific name is Mangifera indica. The first part, Mangifera, that's the genus, which is basically a group of closely related species. The second part, indica, is the specific epithet, or what we'd call the species name. It's what singles out this particular type of mango. So you've got genus and species. Simple, but incredibly powerful.
But, naming is just one piece of the puzzle. Classification takes all these names and organizes them into this vast hierarchical structure, like a massive, interconnected family tree for all of life. The key idea here is that every organism has its own unique address in this system. It's organized into a series of nested ranks or categories, and each one of these categories is called a taxon.
Let's use us, humans, as an example to see this hierarchy in action. Okay, so we start at the most specific level. Our species is sapiens. Then, as we zoom out, we belong to the genus Homo, the family Hominidae, the order Primata, the class Mammalia, the phylum Chordata, and finally the kingdom Animalia. See how with each step up, the group gets broader and more inclusive? And this system works for all life. It doesn't matter if you're a human, a housefly, a mango tree, or a stalk of wheat. Each one has a specific place in these taxonomic ranks. It is a truly universal framework.
Now, while this system seems super tidy, it definitely wasn't built in a day. Our understanding of life has evolved, and that's led to some major shifts in how we classify life at the very highest level, the kingdoms.
Yeah, the earliest attempts, like Aristotle's, were pretty basic. For a long time, Linnaeus's two-kingdom system, basically just plants and animals, was the standard. But as our tools and knowledge got better, it became obvious that this was just way too simple. Then, in 1969, a biologist named R.H. Whitaker proposed the five-kingdom system that we pretty much use today. So why did that old two-kingdom system fail? Well, it just wasn't detailed enough. It lumped organisms with fundamentally different cell structures all together. It didn't separate single-celled life from multicellular life. And crucially, it put things like fungi, which get energy by decomposing stuff, in the same box as plants, which make their own food. Science really needed a better way.
So Whitaker's solution was this five-kingdom model. It's based on much deeper characteristics like cell type, how an organism's body is built, and how it gets nutrition. And you can see the clear distinctions here, right? Monera are the simple prokaryotes.
The other 4 kingdoms are all eukaryotes, but they differ in really important ways, like their cell walls, body structure, and how they eat.
So with that framework all set up, let's take a quick, energetic tour through these 5 great kingdoms of life. First up, you've got Monera, which has all the bacteria, the simplest forms of life. Then we have Protista, which is kind of a diverse grab bag of mostly single-celled eukaryotes. The kingdom Fungi includes things like mushrooms and yeasts, which are nature's great decomposers. And of course, we have the familiar ones, Plantae, the producers, and Animalia, the consumers.
But just when you think you've got it all sorted out, biology loves to throw a curveball. Turns out there are these entities out there that really challenge our definition of what it even means to be alive.
And this is where it gets super interesting. Viruses, and even stranger things called viroids and prions, they don't have a spot in the 5 kingdoms. And why not? Well, because they aren't made of cells. They lack the basic machinery of life, and you could argue they're just inert until they manage to infect a host.
So a virus is basically just genetic material, DNA or RNA, all wrapped up in a protein coat. It's an obligate parasite. It can't do anything on its own. A viroid? That's even simpler. It's just a piece of infectious RNA with no protective coat at all, but it can still cause disease in plants. Wild. And then you have prions. Okay, these are the weirdest of all. They have 0 genetic material, no DNA, no RNA. They are just misfolded proteins that somehow trigger a chain reaction, causing other normal proteins to misfold too. And this causes these devastating neurological diseases.
So where does all this leave us? From the simplest bacteria to the most complex animals, and even those bizarre agents that live on the very edge of life, classification reveals this profound connection. It's a system that's pretty humbling, actually, showing us that we are just one small branch on this immense, ancient tree of life. And that kind of begs the question, right? If we're all part of this one grand system, what does that really say about our place in it?